No question for me, it's been our decision here to play the hot hand and keep going with Dak and have Tony, who has handled this with such class and such professionalism in terms of what's in the best interest of our football team at this moment. But certainly been very difficult for everybody because of all the great things Tony's done for our franchise.
Oh, Max, what does this say about the Joneses?
I think it says really good things, to tell you the truth. Yes, I do. Look, the NFL is ruthless in terms of their efficiency, right? And that's ideally how business works. That business should be very efficient, and they run the team as a business and all that. But there is a redeeming quality about people who not only value loyalty, but reciprocate it. Who have, and this happens even with bad people who play for the Cowboys. You see Jerry Jones come out and defend them and like, dude, you can't defend that guy. Do you know what that guy just did? I mean, how many times are we up here talking about that? And it's because Jerry Jones, in his personal experience, and Marcellus Wiley, my former broadcast partner, happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Marcellus.
Yeah, so, but Marcellus Wiley used to talk about this. He played 1 year for Jerry Jones. Didn't play well. For Bill Parcells on the Cowboys, and has nothing but good things to say about Jerry Jones. The people who play for him like them because he has their back no matter what. He's a loyal guy, and you see it in Stephen Jones too. Now, it's not toward every player all the time. In this case, it's the quarterback, the longtime quarterback. That bodes well for Dak Prescott. That would make me, if I were a player, want to play for the Cowboys, that they not only demand loyalty, but reciprocate it, even when it's unpopular. And I think that's why, and in this case, they handled the whole thing right the whole time. Well, it's Romo, it's Romo, it's Romo. Okay, maybe it's Dak. Okay, now it's Dak. Hey, Tony, can you hold a press conference just telling everyone so we can move on? And what's Romo supposed to say at that point? No to the people who have been that loyal to him? I'm sure Romo, though it was difficult, probably said, in this imagined conversation in my own mind, probably said, I got to do what I got to do for these people. They do it for me. And it is a redeeming quality of the Cowboys and of Jerry and Stephen Jones.
I'm being a little emotional right now because Max was so touching in what he just said. I mean, oh my Lord, the Dallas Cowboys are loyal and they're just so sensitive.
He was cold as ice, Stephen A.
No, I mean, hold on. Jerry Jones is such a wonderful guy, and so is Stephen Jones. I mean, Molly, isn't it touching? Isn't it touching? I mean, are you listening to Max Kellerman sit here talking about how touched he is about the Dallas Cowboys? Are you kidding me? Y'all make me sick with this nonsense. All right, fine. You're a boss, and you know what? This guy has performed for me for years, so because of that, it was such a hard decision. What the hell was hard about it? What was hard about it? Tony Romo's won 2 playoff games in 10 years? That's what's hard? That's what's hard. How about your fan base? How about the people the paying customers that you charge, the exorbitant prices that you charge to come to your $1 billion playpen? How about that? How about the fact that they haven't had, what's the last time the Dallas Cowboys been in the NFC Championship game? 1995, was that the year? I mean, I'm not looking, but I didn't see it. I got my glasses on right now. It was 19. I mean, refresh my memory. David Sabino, is that true? Is it 1995? I mean, I think that's what it is. Not 1995 is 2016, going into 2017.
Hold on, carry the one.
Which carries the one over, which makes about 21 and a half years, 22 years, okay? 22 seasons you ain't been in a conference championship game with your $1 billion playpen, with all the headlines and everything like that. And we're supposed to sit up here and get all emotional. I mean, just Stephen Jones didn't even have the father didn't even have the decency to put that quote out there. It was the son. What was that, on Skype? Talking to fans or something?
That was a tight shot, though.
What was it?
Listen, Stephen A., that's a tough angle for anybody right there.
What am I missing? What am I missing? Stephen Jones, it just by far was just the hardest decision that I've ever made. So a guy that wins 2 playoff games for you in a decade, 2 in a decade that you are paying about $108 million.
Maybe he needed Dak to count up some more wins.
It's so hard. It's so hard. So let me get this straight. Tony Romo getting paid lovely. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be. There's no issues with him. The checks are coming. I think I remember correct. Checks are coming. Even while you got the back surgeries, even though while you're on the sideline with your Dallas Cowboy paraphernalia, even while you got the headsets on, don't have to take the hits to the back now. Don't have to worry about the broken collarbone now. Lord, the house is chill. And by the way, there's no state income taxes in Texas. I mean, my Lord. I mean, he's getting all that money. Let him come to New York. Let New York or New Jersey get some of those dollars in taxes, okay? But Tony Romo doesn't have to worry about that either.
You know?
And somehow, some way, I'm supposed to be touched. Go ahead.
People ask our bosses, who do you think wins those debates, Max or Stephen A? And they're like, well, it's really hard, but, you know, Max beats him, but Stephen A really does great. They don't really mean that you do great compared to me. They're trying to protect your feelings.
The boss doesn't say that. The bosses are thinking about getting you a new wardrobe, my man. They're tired of damn black and blue suits. They're tired of black and blue suits. That's what they're tired of, okay? They want you to step it up. They want you. When you going to see Max or something like this, Molly? But we won't go there. We won't go there.
Molly, just tell him. Tell him. He doesn't know.
All I'm trying to say is this.
So
are we really supposed to be so
What would you like them to do differently?
No. All I'm trying to say is this. You know what? Treat him.
Why?
Time out. I don't know what this is, but here's my answer. Treat him like you would treat any quarterback who won 2 playoff games for you in a decade. That's all I ask. Is that too much to ask, Bollywood? I don't think that's too much to ask.
They handled this perfectly, and they continue to handle it perfectly. Let me tell you something.
Kellerman,
if something should happen to Dak Prescott, if for some reason his play falls off, or you don't wish injury on anyone, but some unforeseen incident should occur, and they need Tony Romo, do they want a Tony Romo who has the vote of confidence of the organization, who feels like they've had his back all along, or do they want a Tony Romo who feels abandoned? They are doing the right thing by the quarterback.
That is a good point for backup situations the rest of the season. That was a very good point.
By the way, feel abandoned. That's what we said.
And by the way, they haven't handled. It's not like they actually didn't play Dak once Romo got better, right? Had they done that, then I would say, wait, this comment's out of line because Dak had the highest QBR and the most games this season and yada, yada, yada. That's not what happened. They're just paying lip service to Tony Romo to keep his confidence up, and somehow that's a bad thing?
Tony Romo.
Yeah, sometimes Stephen A wins debates. They need your confidence up.
I'm just saying,
he doesn't have a confidence problem. Don't worry about that.
We talked about, no, I don't. So we talked about Tony Romo, and I just want to make sure I'm clear. We talked about his feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Tony Romo's feelings.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Tony Romo, 6 years.
Yeah.
$108 million.
Pretty good about that.
Including
Keep getting them checks.
Including a $25 million signing bonus. $55 million in guaranteed dollars.
Yeah.
An average annual salary of $18 million per.
He can feed his family this Christmas.
This year alone, his base salary was $8.5 million.
Buy some therapy.
All right. So I'm just sitting there going like this. Really? That's where we are. We're talking about his because you know what?
Stephen A. Smith, you callous.
We don't want him to feel abandoned in case he has to get back in the game. We need him to feel good.
I just want to ask you a question, Hollywood. Yeah. We don't want the $108 million quarterback who's won 2 playoff games in his career to feel abandoned.
No. We need his mind right in case he's got to step in. I'm swaying to Max's side during this argument.
I'm about the money. It's just mostly about the money.
It's always about the money.
It ain't all about the money.
It's mostly about the money. Mostly about the money. It's not all about the money.
It's not about the Benjamins, right? $108 million, $55 million guaranteed, $25 million signing bonus. But we want to sit here and be sensitive to Tony Romo's feelings. Really?
Yeah. And by the way, if I was Dak Prescott, I'd feel good about playing for this organization. Because when I'm old and a young kid replaces me, this is the treatment I can expect.
I would feel. I recall Jerry Jones mistreating Emmitt Smith. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not a quarterback.
I'm sorry. Oh, not a quarterback. So now we're going by position. So it's not the player. It's the position. And you see, because understand something. 1 minute he's saying it's the player because he brought in Marcellus Wiley, who didn't have that great of a year. This is what Max said, not me.
Certainly did not.
Okay, so that's what he said.
Do that, Max voice again.
He didn't have that great year. But Jerry Jones treated me great. But he mistreated Emmitt Smith now. I'm just saying.
Here's the other thing about Tony Romo. when at the end of a running back's career, when they're not good anymore, that's one thing. Tony Romo, when healthy, is still an excellent player. The issue
by the way,
is simply his availability.
Hold on.
3 of the last 4
And
seasons.
you said what about his availability?
He's unavailable usually. Right, but now he is.
Oh, really?
His availability
So now,
is the best ability.
hold on. It's Wednesday. What that got to do with Sunday?
Because he's not playing, so he should remain available in case that isn't.
I'm saying
you want his confidence
Max Kellerman has sounded so bad about Tony Romo that even if Tony Romo was playing this Sunday, Max would sit there and say, well, it's Wednesday. Anything can happen between now and Sunday with him.
That's right.
That's what you would say.
That's why he's best served as a backup.
Really, exactly.
And where the Cowboys have him, by the way.
I never said he wasn't best served as a backup.
And that's where the Cowboys
I'm talking
have
about
him.
his feelings.
So you don't like the comments they're making supporting him?
I'm saying to you, you seem touched by their feelings for him.
Yeah.
And so do
He's
you.
we're playing mind games.
So
You're twisting
Stephen A.
it to his
Smith, you
right.
can mock everyone's humanity. That doesn't discount it.
Mocking their humanity? Sure, Molly. I'm being cruel, Molly, because $108 million man, $55 million guaranteed. His feelings, y'all. Let me ask the camera folks over there.
Listen.
I'm insensitive. I'm insensitive, fellas. That's what it is. That's what I'm insensitive to Tony Romo. You got to be kidding. Hold on. Let me get my tissue.
If I made $108 million,
Rich people have feelings too.
I wouldn't
Stephen A.
be
emotional. I'm getting emotional right now, okay? Stephen Jones, let's go to break.
All right.
I'm just getting emotional.
we get to see the Cowboys play tomorrow,
emotional
Thursday
right
night
now.
football against the Vikings.
Tony Romo's feelings, his feelings, y'all.
Stephen A.
$108 million. His feelings. Be sensitive,
We don't want him to
Stephen A.
feel abandoned, okay?
Please.
Coming up. Chef Curry with the shot will become a free agent in the summer, and since he's very underpaid by NBA standards, he's due for a nice payday. Curry wants to remain in Golden State barring any curveballs, telling the Wall Street Journal, quote, although curveballs happen all the time, it's hard to see myself anywhere else. Stephen A., what are these curveballs he speaks of?
Well, in my opinion, I have not spoken to the Warriors in recent weeks. I've been busy doing other things, but I'll lock in on them. Profound respect for their owner, Joe Lacob, and what they're doing there. And I can't see any way that Steph Curry would leave Golden State. But I will tell you this. When I hear a statement like that, it comes across to me as a reminder. Yes, I wanted Kevin Durant here. Yes, I'm happy Kevin Durant here. He's averaging 27 a game. I'm averaging 26 a game. He's shooting 57% from the field. I'm shooting 49% from the field. We doing our thing between us and Clay. We averaging almost 75 points a game. We good. We don't want to mess this up. But let's make sure we remember whose franchise this is and what my value is. I don't think there's any question that Joe Lacob will do just that. But this is big time sports. This is the business of sports. And anytime you get a superstar the magnitude of a Kevin Durant, it provides you cushion to make decisions whichever way you want to go, because you know you're going to still be on an elevated level compared to most in the industry. Let's say, for example, and again, I'm not entertaining this because I don't see Steph Curry being gone from Golden State because Joe Lacob is just too smart and the situation is too good and the fan base is too fantastic and the people in Oakland will go ballistic if they ever lost Steph Curry. But let's hypothetically speak for a particular second here. If you are in that situation, let's say there's no Steph Curry, but there's Kevin Durant and Draymond and Clay and the crew. You trying to tell me you still can't be in the upper echelon of the NBA? Of course you can. Sometimes in the world of business, owners use that as a particular excuse to sort of veer left a little bit and try not to give you what you deserve. I cannot see that happening, but we need to be reminded of this, Max. Steph Curry actually deserved more money with his previous contract. And he had those chronic ankle injuries that he kept suffering from, and they didn't know about his health. So he ended up signing for a deal where a lot of people would make the argument that he was underpaid because he's only getting paid like $12 million. He's clearly paid deserving of more. It's just that you didn't know about his health situation and whether his career would continue. So they got over then. I think it's Steph Curry reminding them, you ain't thinking about getting over this time, are you? Because it ain't gonna happen.
I don't think that can be it. And obviously you are privy to more NBA.
Yeah, but I didn't check. So I didn't call about it.
I disagree with that assessment because you're dealing with a league with a max contract. And you're dealing with a league that incentivizes you to stay with your own team at a certain number of pre-specified dollars.
Under the previous agreement, they were negotiating a new CBA.
Right, but even with the new CBA, that ceiling will rise, but there will still be a ceiling at which you can't break through. In other words, this is the most money we are allowed by the rules to offer you over the most years. That is what Steph will get. There's no way he gets under that. Even though when that comes up, he'll be 30 years old. He has an injury history. He's small. He's not the most athletic guy, etc. He will still get that. Why will it not matter no matter what Kevin Durant does? What's Kevin Durant shooting from three right now?
44%.
That's above or below where Steph is shooting?
Steph is at 42%.
Okay, it's even higher than Steph. You know why? Because he's playing on a team with Steph Curry. See, Steph, and I think the Warriors, obviously the Warriors realize this, you don't get extra points from shooting farther behind the three-point line. It's not like you get 4 points. So what's the incentive ever to take a longer-range three-point shot? It didn't really make sense at first. If you're not being rewarded for it, but the level of difficulty goes up and the probability of the shot falling goes down. Well, what Steph Curry and the Warriors have shown is not all three-point shots are created equal. Those deep threes that Steph takes has a greater spacing effect on the floor. You say, oh, they shoot the three, they space the floor, stretch four, whatever. But when you shoot it from way out there, that's that many more steps the defense has to take to rotate. It's the reason, though he's not shooting it now, Draymond Green went from a high 20s, low 30s% three-point shooter, for a big, I guess, but we like a little more, or a big-ish guy, to that dude's shooting near 40% last year, right around 38, 40%. That's a killer. Because those guys are wide open. You give an NBA player, I don't care if he's a center who can't shoot, that extra second, they become much better shooters. And that's what Steph does for this team. And under no circumstances, that's among other things. He's also unselfish, setting off-ball screens and all that kind of stuff. His handles make him a mobile artillery unit, all those things. But that distance from which he can shoot and his unselfish play make everyone around him better.
Couple of things to say here. Number one, if Draymond Green was open last year, you would perceive him as being even more open now. He's shooting 29% from three-point range. It's early. I'm just saying. The point is he was making them last year. He ain't making them with the degree of regularity that he was last year. That's number one. Number two, Steph Curry now has a teammate in Kevin Durant who could have made just as much money, who could have made more money staying in Oklahoma City. He declined. He decided to leave. So you got to remember, it's their right to do what they want to do once they become free agents. That's point number two. Point number three, no matter which way you slice it, it is plausible. I don't know. I haven't checked into this, but I've been told this. I have to check. Steph Curry being with Under Armour, the situation isn't as beneficial for him now as it was then, possibly. In other words, what I'm saying is I shouldn't say it that way. What I should say it is this way. He might be better off somewhere else if it's just about the dollars because of Under Armour and what you could do there, as opposed to being on a team with a Nike rep who's doing what he's doing and what Kevin Durant is doing. I can't conceive of any of this reaching fruition. I look at Steph Curry, I think about the Golden State Warriors. It makes me sick to my stomach. It breaks my heart because they grabbed him one pick ahead of when the Knicks were picking. And the Knicks were going to grab him with Mike D'Antoni. That was their pick. But the Golden State Warriors grabbed him at 7th.
Good for Steph. The Knicks would have messed him up.
Yeah, you know what? But shot makers are shot makers when you are that kind of marksman. And he would have changed the culture of the New York franchise.
Think about Steph for a second.
So I look at it that way. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is this. I don't see him going anywhere. But I do believe he said barring any curveballs for a reason. And that was to say, don't forget, you need to take care of me.
Everyone I know.
I just know that Golden State will take Joe Lacob. The Joe Lacob I know will take care of Steph Curry.
I can't imagine a universe where a team, and you can go through the salary cap ceiling so long as the players already, you'll have their bird rights, where a team doesn't give Steph the most money over the most years they're allowed to, even at the age of 30. At the end of the deal, he'd be 35. We've seen plenty of point guards super effective at that age. The thing about Steph Curry that's unique to me, in NBA history actually, is now it turned out not to be true. LeBron James is better than Steph Curry, obviously. But there was a time in the middle of last season where I watched Steph and I thought in no other era would it be true. It's not fair that it's true. But I think Steph Curry's the best player in the game. Like it's through this trick of shooting the three
He's the greatest shooter I've ever seen.
And there's never been a time in NBA history where the best player in the game is under 6'5", 6'4", is a 6'3" point guard. Even when Nash won back-to-back MVPs, even when Isaiah Thomas was at his best, no one ever looked at those guys and thought, even Allen Iverson at his best, no one looked at those guys and said, that's the best player in the game. And even though it didn't turn out to be true about Steph, he had us wondering that, at least had me wondering that for a hot minute. And that's a special player you don't let go of if you have a choice.
Again, it's not going to be the choice. He's a free agent. Keep that in mind. That's number one. Number two, Kevin Durant is getting paid $26.5 million this year. Klay Thompson's at 16.6. Draymond Green is the third highest paid player at 15.3. Steph Curry's at 12 million. He's only getting 1 million more than Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala. His time is supposed to be coming. And also, Kevin Durant has a player option after this year. So Kevin Durant, listen, he's probably going to stay long term, but we can't assume anything with him at this point. He could very well win the chip this year and decide to go elsewhere. Don't rule out anything.
Why does Durant even want to play with Steph? Because he's unselfish. I don't see Steph as that kind of player who leaves town because of something.
I don't see it either.
We shall see.
But he
see
set
about these
curveball
curveballs
for a reason. He's putting them on notice. Take care of me.